Guys, what's going on? Andres here. I am working with Tika. Come here, sweetie. She's a beautiful Indian street dog. I'm not sure if you can see her. Hey, buddy, come on. Come here, buddy. Can I say hi? Yes, good, sweetie. She came to me, surrendered to an organization that I work with called Love at Last. She was brought from India, adopted, and then returned basically, or surrendered the next day because she was just too much for the other people to handle. Anyway, she's got a lot of, separation anxiety, had no focus, aggression with her dogs, people, just fear in general. So super unstable. And I've been working with her for just about a week now, and she's doing really, really good. She loves these treats that I got for her, which are actually just puppy kibble, just high, lamb feed, high grade organic puppy kibble. Dogs love this stuff. It's super cheap. You get a big bag of it. So I'm going to be crate training her. I just bought this crate, still got the tag on. I just set it up. I had started crate training her with a smaller crate. Good girl. A little while ago, and it was going really well, but the crate was just a bit small for me to get her in and out. So I got this, and crate training, wonderful thing to do. If you have no idea why you crate train, there's a lot of videos out there, but the basics are to, first of all, allow for a little separation between you and your dog. A lot of people spend all day with their dog. They're very, very regularly, yes, good girl. Sleep in the bed with the dog, lie on the couch with the dog. Yes, good girl. And are constantly just kind of with the dog. And all of a sudden they leave the house and they expect the dog to be cool with it. And usually you get these, issues of separation anxiety and stuff like that. There's a lot of other underlying issues for why separation anxiety happens. But crate training is a really good one to kind of establish a bit of a boundary with your dog. Allows you to be able to control them a bit more, have them be in the crate, relax. They're not going to chew some furniture or get into something they shouldn't be getting into, the garbage, that kind of stuff. It allows you and them, yes, good girl, to have just a bit of space, and then gives them a safe place to be and makes it okay for being away from you. So first thing you want to do is just set up your crate, just put it in a neutral area. Don't shove your dog in it right away. Just have it in the area and just work with your dog around the crate, just like I'm kind of doing now. Have her really focus on something, which is this treat. Have her be in a calm state. So she was really excited and hyper before, and now she's calm. Yes, good girl. And I can just start to work with her a bit better. So don't, have your dog be too hyper or too excited. You want them to be calm, and you want them to associate the crate with, a calm, easygoing behavior. So first thing I like to do is just kind of get my dog, again, excited about a treat, really interested, and then just start to basically toss treats around the crate and just kind of have her be comfortable being around the crate. I don't know if she'll go in. Yes, good girl, sweetie. Yes, I didn't think she would, but she did. And so let's see if I can just get a paw in there. Come on, puppy. Yeah, good girl. Okay, good sweetie. Now, if you have a crate that has a lid on it, is one of those more like travel style crates, you can do this with half the crate. That's what I was doing with her, and I actually had her bed in there, and she was sleeping in, she's a little nervous to put a paw in there. She was sleeping in the half crate, and she loved it, but it was just a bit small to close up. So this is basically what you're gonna be doing is, yes, good girl, sweetie. And then when she's in there, you kind of want to keep her in there for a minute and just kind of, keep her attention in the crate. Come on, sweetie, go get it. Get it. Yeah, she doesn't really want to go in there, right? So we're just trying to, push the limits a little bit, and then if she gets a bit nervous, take a step back. Good girl. Good, sweetie. That's a good puppy. Sit. Yes. Okay, so we're just going a little bit at a time. Now, every dog is different. Some dogs might just happily go in. Great, work with that. If your dog is super terrified, just take it in increments, okay? Figure out where your dog is at. Again, if you need to do half a crate or whatever, you can even take out, a lot of times these things come out, okay? And you can just take that out and just work on that matte surface. Because a lot of times for dogs that haven't had a lot of exposure, good girl, sweetie. Good girl. A lot of dogs that haven't had exposure to like weird surfaces and stuff like that, they just get tripped out by stepping on things, going on grates, and she'll jump over manholes and stuff like that. It's pretty cute. Sit. Yes, good girl. So I got her all the way to the back, which was really awesome. So let's see if I can do that again. Good girl. Now, you know, if your dog really is just not at a yes, good girl, go get it. If they're not at all interested in whatever treats you have, find something high value. Okay, cheese, sausage, chicken. Good girl, sweetie, go get it. You know, you can get a bone or a chew toy, just whatever your dog is super excited about, and just work with that around the crate. Don't force them in. Take it slow. All we're trying to do is just get them in there. Go get it, puppy. Good girl. Look at that. Boom. Do you see that? That going in and that turnaround was massive. Good girl, sweetie. Good girl. That willingness to go in and kind of like look around there for a quick sec and do a turnaround rather than back up says a lot about that she was pretty comfortable there. So I'm gonna grab a couple more treats, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna put her bed in there, so she's getting pretty comfortable just kind of going in and out. Yeah, good girl. She's getting pretty comfortable going in and out, so that's great. I don't want to push it, but what I want to do is have her spend a bit more time in there. So what I like to do is get their bed in there, and then I like to hide treats kind of underneath their bed and sort of around it, so it forces them to kind of like use their nose to work around the crate. So they're kind of forced to spend more time in there to get something. And I find that sort of just improves their ability to stay in there for a little bit longer. And her just willingness to go in there right now is massive. So this is a huge first step. This dog was so terrified. She didn't want to go upstairs. She didn't want to go in between doorways. And the last crate that I had, she wouldn't step foot in it. And so this is a big jump. Just her general state of mind, helping her overcome obstacles. I always say, find your dog's limits. Okay, find their boundaries in terms of their obstacles. Bring them to that obstacle and just get a paw over that obstacle. Don't sit there and then go back home. Get that next step over, and then when you come back tomorrow, you'll get 2 paws, and you just keep moving forward. Too many times that my clients and stuff like that, they coddle their dogs, or they don't want to put their dogs under pressure or stress, and it doesn't help them progress. Dogs are super resilient. She's been through a lot, and dogs can overcome a lot of things. Sometimes you just have to help them overcome, but they will move on. You know, if they have a traumatic experience, if you can show them that it's okay, you can get through that, or it's not going to be like that forever, they'll get through it. They're super smart. So I'm going to grab her bed and some treats, and we're going to keep working on this thing. Sit. Sit. Yes, good girl. There are a lot of people who like to feed their dog in a crate. If your dog is super stable, doesn't have resource guarding issues, that kind of stuff, that's not such a big deal. But with a dog like her, where we're still working on some of her food aggression and resource guarding, no. I wouldn't recommend doing that, okay? If you're gonna do this crate training with a dog that's not as food motivated or really doesn't seem to like the crate, do it before you feed her, or make it part of your feeding. So kind of cut her food up a little bit, bring it around the crate, stuff like that. It's okay to make your dog a little bit hungry so that they're a bit more food motivated. She actually just had her breakfast, and I gave her a really big breakfast today. So she's food motivated, but she wants to work, and she just loves working for these little bits of kibble. Good girl. Okay, sweetie. So I got her bed in there now, so I'm just gonna toss in a couple things on her bed, right? Pretty good, okay. And now I'm gonna go a little further, good. That's a familiar surface, she's good, awesome. Okay, puppy. Now I'm gonna drop them behind the crate. So she doesn't see them, so she's gonna have to go smell them, so she's gonna spend a little more time in there, right? There, now she's gotta dig kind of underneath there. And her willingness to sort of spend a bit more time in there kind of increases because she's looking for something, right? There you go, puppy. Good girl. Right, so I want her to spend time in there. I want her to feel comfortable being in the crate. And that's exactly what's going on here. So I drop one on the other side. A couple of those, you can get them. Come on, sweetie. Tika. Come. Come. Good girl. So now, I also recommend, you know, if you have a dog that their listening skills are just starting to get there, have a leash on your dog, you know, so if you do call them or want them to come, you can bring the leash towards you to make sure you're reinforcing. So see how she's going in, right? Because she's looking for something to reinforce your commands, because you want to make sure you follow through. So especially new dogs that you're looking after from the rescue or that are, you know, in training, have a leash on your dog the majority of the time. You don't need to always pull them around, but having a leash, a small leash, can make a big difference. So Tika, sit. Yes. Sit. Okay. So I'll put them right underneath the bed. She's gonna have to move her bed to find the treat. Right, so this is kind of what I want, is her to dig in there and her to sniff around and really feel comfortable. What's underneath there? Like a little bit of pressure too, because she's kind of pushing against something. She's got a bit of an obstacle. She's sort of working, you know, to find something, and just making contact and being touched by the bed and that kind of stuff. It's very mild, but it does something to the dog to make him feel like, you know, they're very comfortable in here because they're willing to work for something, right? Okay, great. So she's comfortable in there now for the most part, right? And that bed really made a big difference because it just sort of adds like a layer of sort of not confusion, but distraction, and occupies her mind a little bit more than just a blank thing, right? Because she's gonna have to move the thing around, put it on there, girl, right? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a bunch of treats in there and more towards the back, okay? And scatter them around a little bit here, and then I'm just gonna shut this door, okay? And I'm just gonna make the sound of the door shutting. Good girl, and then open it up again, okay? So what I really want is for her to be totally comfortable with this door being shut and the sound of it too, because these hinges can be a bit of a trigger for a lot of dogs, especially if they're not crate trained properly. So I want her to be totally comfortable with this sound, and by occupying her quite, you know, heavily, look at all those treats under there, buddy. By occupying her quite significantly in there, I can do that without her worrying about it. And I've been training her a lot with underneath. I've been training her a lot with noises and stuff like that, so she's doing really good with that. But it's just the idea of, you know, this whole thing kind of rattles a little bit, and this is exactly kind of what you want to do, is just start to test her a little bit, test your dog, see how they do. She's so occupied in there, right? And maybe we don't use her bed if you don't want her to rip it up or whatever. Good girl, sweetie. That's a good girl. So this is exactly what I want. She didn't even come out, right? So we're working exactly along the way that I want her to. So now I'm just gonna kind of leave this shut a little bit and just let it be. And I might even ask her to sit or something like that. Let's see. Tika, Tika, Tika. Good girl. Hey, sit. Yes, good, sweetie. Right, so now I'm having her perform tasks inside the crate, and that's exactly what I want, is for her to be totally comfortable inside this thing. Good girl, sweetie. That's a good girl. Ready? And keep in mind, this is a dog that, you know, has had zero training about a week ago, and she's come a long, long way, and I'm really proud of the progress that she's made. We got a long way to go still, but she's doing really good. I got the prong collar on because she has very, very poor leash etiquette. She's never been trained on a leash. So she's lying down now, and she's just in heaven. She's just getting treats all day long. This is awesome. This is the best day ever. I love this crate, right? And that's pretty much sort of it in terms of like getting your dog comfortable. You know, you can shut this thing now. And then from here, you know, it's just about kind of repeating this. I don't think that she's good in this crate yet. You know, she hasn't figured it out 100%. She's not necessarily gonna sleep in here right now. But this is the first step, and then I might repeat something like this again, or just leave this in here and leave her bed in there with the door open and give her the opportunity just to go in again, in and out on her own choosing. That's what's super important. I don't want her to get the feeling of I'm stuck in here, so I really want to manage that, right? So, you know, if she might feel like, hey, I'm not sure what's going on, maybe I want to come out soon, I'll open the door before that state happens, before she starts kind of getting a bit anxious about stuff. Good girl, Tika. But the reality is I just want to keep her comfortable in there, and then at the beginning stages give her the option to come out as she needs, and then just kind of progress up to longer periods of time. Leaving her bed in there is a great way for her to become comfortable. So now I'm going to leave her bed in there, I'm going to shut the door, and I'll leave the door open, and I'm just going to leave her alone. And if she wants to lie in there, that's great. There's still some more kibble in there, so she can kind of mess around a bit. And that's sort of the basics. So from now on, you know, for her, that's where her bed is going to be. I'm going to leave it in there. Good girl, sweetie. Go back in. Good girl. Okay. So I hope that helped. There's a lot of really good reasons to crate train, especially with puppies, you can just keep an eye on them, control them a little better, and just give them the opportunity to be a bit more independent, but under your control at the same time. So I'm gonna drop some kibble back there. She's gonna go get that. So okay, my name is Andres, and yeah, I really hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, hit me up, vancityk9@gmail.com. Good luck with your dog. Ciao. Chica, come here, sweetie. So just to show you, I just left the door open and the bed in there, and she just went in on her own and lay down. And that's the kind of thing that I want to see, is for her just to be super comfortable in there on her own without me having to put her in there. So this was day 1 of crate training, and I think it's going pretty good. So I hope this helps.